Malcolm Jamal Warner, dead at the age of 54 on a drowning accident while he was vacationing with his family in Costa Rica.
I am tired of running for shade. And aren't you tired of being hustled and played? And aren't we all tired of crying about how hard it is to be black in America, even if it looks like we've got it made?
Has this been difficult for you?
Yeah. Because when you watch someone who you know and love, go through what he's going through. Me and Eddie really did not get along.
In real life?
In real life.
I did not know this.
Yeah. Like
okay.
we didn't get. But every single week before taping, we'd come together, we'd put our hands together, we'd bow, and we'd pray before we go out there.
The adored actor Malcolm Jamal Warner, who became well known as Theo Huxtable, is no longer with us. And his parting message was a warning more than merely a farewell.
And if for some reason you can't find a reason to smile, then that's probably the best time to be the reason for somebody else to smile.
You are my idea of customer service.
Oh, come on, man. That line's about as old as that sweater you got on.
Well, I tell you what, you find me a study that shows that the robotic approach is better than the standard CT surgery, and I will consider it.
Consider this. Everyone's replaceable if they don't play ball, even you.
And the actual questions are beginning to be asked now that he's gone. Why was no one paying attention? Why does it seem like people are silenced whenever they voice their opinions?
But freedom has its limits, so here we are, tear-streaked and salt-stained faces. Traces of trauma and pain lace our DNA like our black pride is cut and laced with self-hate.
The actor Malcolm Jamal Warner, widely known for starring in the hit TV sitcom The Cosby Show, has died.
Was this another catastrophe, or was it a trend that is becoming too obvious to ignore? Let's begin. Fans are shocked by Malcolm Jamal Warner's unexpected passing, while others are deeply suspicious. According to reports, the 54-year-old actor, who was well known for playing Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, drowned while on vacation in Costa Rica with his family. Strong currents off the coast of Clay's Beach in Limon caused the drowning, which authorities say was a tragic accident.
Reports that the 54-year-old was in Costa Rica on a family vacation and accidentally drowned while swimming.
I am tired of running for shade. And aren't you tired of being hustled and played? And aren't we all tired of crying about how hard it is to be black in America, even if it looks like we've got it made?
According to the Associated Press, Warner was carried to the morgue after Costa Rican Red Cross first responders discovered him without vital signs, despite the local police initially claiming that he had been saved by beachgoers. However, not everyone agrees with the story. It's too unsettling to ignore the circumstances, the timing, and, most unsettling of all, the message he left behind a few days before he passed away. Warner wasn't only on holiday. He had an objective: to speak the truth. Warner sent what fans now refer to as his disguised farewell message on the last episode of his podcast, Not All Hood, which was published just 2 days prior to his death. Furthermore, the topics he spoke weren't trivial or superficial. It was intensely personal, urgent, and unvarnished. Warner thought back to a recent conversation in which spoken word poet Tamika Georgia Mee Harper contested the title of his podcast, Ain't Nothing Wrong with the Hood. She interrupted him as soon as he told her it was called Not All Hood. Warner's thoughts spiraled after that brief remark. He came to see that the media had long promoted the hood narrative, a limited representation of black culture, while neglecting its depth, complexity, and strength.
The reason for the title is combating the narrative of black life, black culture that the media focuses on. Life is out here lifing, right? For me and for everybody else. But just wanted to remind you, as I remind myself, that no matter what's going on, there's always a reason to smile.
He was criticizing the system that takes advantage of and misunderstands the hood, not separating himself from it. In the end, historically, the hood side is what has always created American culture. he said. That's a bold truth about appropriation, invisibility, and stolen legacy, not just a cultural observation. Hollywood has worked for decades to hide this fact. Warner didn't stop there either. He also discussed his personal evolution in terms of his thoughts on concepts such as Black greatness. Warner claimed that a discussion regarding the erasure of Black soldiers from Arlington National Cemetery's historical records altered his initial skepticism of the word due to its association with celebrity and wealth. He asserted that Black excellence is Black survival in and of itself, not fame, honors, or wealth.
We're not all hood. The Black community is not a monolith. There's so many levels and lanes to the Black community, and we wanted to have a space where we could acknowledge, discuss all of those lanes. An artist, to be a conscious artist of color, you're constantly having to pick your battles. And, at some point you have to, really decide what your boundaries are. What are the things that you undoubtedly stand for?
Only survival. Knowing how abruptly his own life was ended makes the line even more poignant now than it was back then. Warner seemed to have a sense that his time was running out, and that he wanted his parting speech to focus on the reality of Black tenacity, adversity, and fortitude. After dumping this strong, vulnerable talk, he vanished in less than 48 hours. Malcolm Jamal Warner was, and in many respects still is, Theodore Huxtable, the amiable, occasionally goofy, and consistently endearing only son on The Cosby Show for an entire generation. He started to appear frequently in millions of homes. His portrayal of Theo, a teenager navigating issues like dyslexia as he grew up, and his parents' reassuring counsel, contributed to the creation of an enduring impression of a person who is kind, stable, and approachable. For years, this image remained with him, raising the crucial question, who is the actual Malcolm Jamal Warner behind that favorable public persona? Examining his life's scandals and tragedies did not turn up any scandal or drama that he was responsible for. Instead, it portrays a man who has subtly dealt with significant difficulties, such as a traumatic personal loss and the burdensome legacy of a show that is currently shrouded in controversy. Warner maintained his composure, thoughtfulness, and integrity throughout it all. We witness a new side of him by seeing how he dealt with the consequences from the Bill Cosby incident, how he dealt with heartbreak, and how he managed to avoid the demise that so many child stars face. He transformed difficult situations into strength and developed into a recognized and mature artist. It's hard not to feel something, to react emotionally in some way to what this person was going through. The most significant and challenging dispute in Malcolm Jamal Warner did not cause his career to fail. He was drawn into it because of his relationship with Bill Cosby. Warner's response demonstrated the complexity of the situation. He was torn between public pressure, personal allegiance, and the emotional burden of appearing in a program that had such cultural significance for Americans. You must know how close he was to Cosby in order to fully comprehend his response. Cosby influenced Warner's life in addition to working with him. Following a nationwide search, he selected Warner, 13, to play Theo. Cosby set the standard on the set. Warner has remarked that Cosby never behaved like a huge star, which taught him how to maintain his composure. In order to keep the show from becoming old, Cosby also offered him innovative ideas, such as staying away from fashionable jargon. Warner said years later that the advice was accurate, stating that it held up when